Dear brothers and sisters, it's so nice to see you all back again on our channel, Rise and Shine TV. And tonight we have a very special guest for you, Shanti OM, my dearest friend, Kundalini Yoga instructor, and the designer of Yogini dresses. But before we start, please click a like button and subscribe to this channel to stay up to date with all our latest classes, videos and meditations. So tonight I have Shanti to describe her own spiritual path, because she has been on it for over 6 years, I think now, and she is willing to share her ups and downs, her way, her every step on her spiritual path.
Sadhana.
So dear Shanti, please tell our viewers what pushed you to step onto the spiritual path and how did it all start for you?
Kundalini Yoga is being found by my higher self. I think it was created this way before I even knew. When I was about 18, I tried the first Kundalini class and I was very not excited about it. I didn't understand it. It was really strange and weird. And when I was 28, I was in a very sad and depressed mode. Many things was happening that wasn't satisfying for me. Mm-hmm. I was very upset about my relationships, about my addictions and all kinds of things that mm-hmm. were creating a lot of suffering. So since I was 18, when I tried the first class, my mom gave me a book, and I always been traveling with this book. It was a Kundalini book. So at 28, I was in this silent retreat, and I took the book with me.
So it took you like 10 years to get to the point.
It took me 10 years to kind of like experience life, and I really felt that there is so much excitement in the life, and spirituality wasn't any interest at this point for me. And at 28, when I was at this retreat, I tried to do Kundalini through this book. And I remember the first Kriya when I did it.
What was your first Kriya?
I don't remember exactly the Kriya, but it was the Kriya from the book. And I first time felt really happy and uplifted. It lasted very short time mm-hmm. because I was in a state of very upset and lost.
The happiness, right?
Well, I was very upset, so mm-hmm. I didn't really know where is the find happiness. I look at people and I didn't know how to find that happiness, but I question all the time, like, what can I do? So this book and that Kriya gave me 15 about minutes of feeling fulfillment, happiness, release of any worries, and I was like, wow, I'm a new person. I feel that something really changed. So I did another Kriya. And in this 3-day silent retreat, I tried about, 10 Kriyas.
Wow,
and I really felt elevated. And it was a different state of my consciousness. And then I decided to try again to go to Kundalini Yoga class. Mm-hmm. So I went to yoga class, and
who was your first teacher? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but the thing was that they started the course mm-hmm. in 1 week. And there was a big sign, like how I traveled with the book and how I tried the Kriyas and they helped, and
so like many coincidences.
Yes, and in a week it was become a teacher training. So I signed up and it kind of was like leading me this way.
So basically, life brought you to Kundalini.
Yes, and I truly believe that the person who tries once Kundalini, they kind of like planting a seed, and even if it's 10 years later, like it happened to me, but this seed of Sadhana, it's like it's giving some nourishment sometime, even though a person might try it once and even never try it again, but it's
like somewhere.
It's already for next life or something, you know. But it's a seed that's very deeply spiritual with a lot of power in it. And every time I see the person who comes to my class, and I always remember myself, and I'm like, you don't have to even like it. It has something that your higher self is looking for, and it makes me smile because deeply inside I know that these people somehow is going to continue the higher soul purpose in a way.
So beautiful. So you like started to do Kundalini yoga right from the start, or you tried different kinds of yoga? Why you chose Kundalini, or just your life brought you towards this practice and you stayed within it?
So yes, I tried many different yogas during my life, but as I said, I was traveling since 18 with the Kundalini Book, and I even signed up to become a different yoga instructor, but I didn't finish. It was very nice. It was also very beautiful, but it didn't have enough power to take me out of my kind of like...
So this power draws you towards the Kundalini yoga, and you decided to become a teacher of Kundalini.
Kundalini yoga, well, why I didn't finish, because the other type of yoga didn't had the power to take me out of my consciousness of like kind of sort of on a bubble of illusion. Not that it's not an illusion now, but the illusion of more like unhealthy lifestyle. And I didn't finish because I didn't have enough of that push to change. And so later, when I was studying Kundalini yoga, I understand what really happened, because Kundalini has very powerful techniques specifically for the type of things that I had, you know, like pain from childhood, and it was releasing a lot of things. So it was helping
you heal
deeply, and it was helping some meditations and kriyas that particularly works on clearing the consciousness, so you're not interested anymore in like going out to have drinks and do all of this kind of like when you think it's fun, but it's not really fun things.
Well, I know you for a long time, and I know that you used to go out and you used to like these things. So like Kundalini changed your whole perspective, right?
Yes, and they say that the person who does it for about a year, they can get enlightened, and they have that power because they're using all these techniques with mantras, locks, and physical exercises that it all like can combine on a person and like dragging him to a different state of consciousness where you already feeling more happy with yourself, and your habits changes, and you can...
Yeah, actually about your habits, because I know you have a habit not to finish the things you started, and actually the thing that you became a Kundalini yoga instructor and you went through all the teacher training, it was a big deal for you. So how it was for you to go through all, it took you a year, right, to become a teacher?
It's about 10 months. There was a moment when I was definitely going to stop, because it was a very kind of like breaking through moment. And it's actually has 5 stages of how the person actually change and builds themselves from scratch in a way. So on the third stage is the most difficult. You either continue or don't continue. So I had my friend Shakti Daya. She studied with me, and she really was like, like a push not to quit, not to stop studying, and it was very beautiful because that moment was really kind of like not easy to change, to shift.
And can you please tell us about morning sadhana? It's one of the most crazy practices in Kundalini Yoga, which most of people do not understand. But what benefits of morning sadhana were for you?
So this is something really unique, and it has specific meditations and mantra that you do in specific time, about 3:45 a.m. until 6, sometimes until 7, depends if you continue do extra. It has this purity in it, and the mantras and the prayers and the exercise is basically works on all levels of our beings, mentally, physically, emotionally, and it just brings you to a very pure high consciousness where if you keep doing it, you feel like enlightened person. And
so what is your suggestion? How long should you continue for?
It's a personal thing. Like if you want to like completely choose to stay on that path and keep doing the morning sadhana and keep that energy going and be like always very elevated, very enlightened, this is your choice. If you want to be more like normal and more grounded, being in this world, then you just do like a Korean meditations, but you just can do it in the morning. It's not necessary to do at 3:45 a.m.
Okay.
But it's highly suggested if you really want to be like enlightened.
So if it's hard for some people, they can start later and then maybe push a little bit towards the more early hours.
For sure, if they start doing the meditation and the Kriya, they will definitely benefit. But the most benefit is to do 40 days.
40 days is a good one. Okay, 40
practice.
days, guys. This is your challenge. And please tell us about your daily routine, maybe some special practices that you do, or which you can maybe recommend for others to also start
There
doing.
is so many things you can.
Well, your favorite.
I always, when I have somebody starting, I always take what I started with, which is like elevation Kriya that works on all our centers, on the chakras, on everything, on every chakra and every organ. And then there is a meditation that is called Morning Call, Long Ekonkars. I always start with this because it's a transformative, it's guaranteed, and it's the beginning of the big change.
Oh, wow.
And I've seen people who study with me really transform, and it's beyond amazing to see what's happening with the person and life and the habits, and it really works.
Wow, this is so nice. And I have a very interesting question for you. I know that throughout past at least 5 years you've changed your name so many times. And why you keep doing that, and what it gives to you? Do you feel like a different person maybe, or maybe you bring some new energy towards your life? Do you benefit in some way from it, or it's just, for you to change your personality a little bit?
So it starts with my name, Christina, that I wasn't exactly approving for a very long time, so I would change my names. Kind of like leaving behind that part of me without really realizing that it's me and that I am divine the way I am. It took years to understand. So throughout of this years, I picked different names that was resonating with something that I wanted to be.
To bring into your life more.
To bring into my life. Leaving behind something that I didn't understand was so beautiful and amazing. So changing the names was really a beautiful process of understanding that it's needed to go this way for me to understand that I really appreciate Christina, that I really love her, that she's like...
So all these names just to come back to your true self.
I can't say that I can leave behind the other names because I can't. They already initiated also as me and I accepted them as myself. I just added all these names because I feel that each word has an energy, and just being surrounded by these different beautiful names, it's, you know, like it's definitely beneficial, and I really enjoy having them.
So speaking about the names, you have beautiful dogs and they have very special names, and maybe someone who also have pets can, you know, hear your story, how you chose the name for your pets.
Okay, so yeah, it's very amazing how, so I have a dog, Victory.
This is Victor.
Yes, and this name was picked from the meditation in the Kundalini Yoga, and I believe that when you say victory, you bring in tons of light beings and forces of around you to kind of like give you an energy to move and shift through different situations. So I gave him name Victory, and of course he comes and he every single time does something, and I'm like, Victory, and I just keep reinforcing that, you know, energy. And there is times when I'm like thinking something, maybe, you know, that not happy thoughts or something, he always comes to me at this moment, and he starts to like do something, and he reminds me of just recycle this name, just this word, and I keep saying like victory, 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 victory. It immediately shifts the perception of the situation. You either think differently about things, or you just like remind yourself that you have the victory, and it changes everything. And the other dog is Khalsa, and her name is also Angel. Yeah, it's like angels around, you know, Victory. And Khalsa is the most purest thing in Kundalini Yoga. That when I was going to get her, while I'm driving to pick her up, I saw that big truck, huge, and it was like big sign of Khalsa, and it's the basically in Kundalini Yoga, it's the name of where, you know, everything is, and like how everything is, like the purity, the most pure thing, and all women can become Khalsas, which is like very powerful, very like pure, amazing, and you know who they truly are. So it was like magic.
Nice. And also I know that you've tried different diets. Let's say you tried to be vegan, vegetarian, you stopped and then started again to eat meat and fish. So where are you now with this part of your life, with the diet part of your life? And how do you feel when you eat meat, and how do you feel when you abandon eating meat? Like what works for you best?
I don't eat meat, like, and I never was really eating meat, except that when I was a very small child. But I don't eat chicken, and I eat fish or eggs. Like fish I could eat once in maybe 2 years. There is a moments of where I decide to have some of this, since I think that I need some kind of like vitamins for me if I feel really low energy, and nothing really works except eating it. But mostly it's very unbalanced to eat any kind of animal products with Kundalini Yoga, because it's very high vibration when you meditate and do this practice, and then by eating meat, fish or like eggs, I feel immediately drop in the energy, and it could be like up and down of feelings, and it's not as pleasant.
So if you do Kundalini, you will suggest not to eat those kind of food?
Yes, it's kind of like it drops off automatically. You're kind of not interested in this anymore.
Yes, I see.
Yeah.
And the last question, I know that through your path of enlightenment, through your spiritual path, let's say, you tried various practices, you tried various teachings, and where you are now, or maybe through your path, which was your most beneficial practices, most beneficial teachings?
So I did jump from many different things, because there is just so many, and they all seems to be very powerful. But because I already become a teacher here, and I'm so familiar with what can help me right now in this second, so I decided to really concentrate on one, so I don't become, there was a moment like everything a little bit, and pushing all together, it just was not enough time to master one thing, and I was not benefiting from all of them mixing and maxing together. So I chose this Kundalini, and I really now kind of like can suggest and be sure if a person starting with a spiritual path, it's could be a very strong base, like a base fundament for any other practices that they can choose from. And there is like so many. There is Akashic records, there is
human design.
Human design. There is gene skis. There is traveling out of body. What else?
Now we're watching the Buddha middle path.
Well, this is something is very interesting right now, because like to get enlightened is to get yourself free of attachments, free from suffering, and I think it's a big, huge example that is very kind of interesting. And it's a little bit interesting, because when you do morning sadhana and you stay on a path of doing every day, you get enlightened as well. But it's like in a Buddha practice, it's also a way to get enlightened, but it's a different path. So right now I'm just trying to understand, are they combined or are they different? And to just learn more about it.
Sounds cool. Any final advice for the viewers? Maybe a word of encouragement for those who only started?
I think the best thing that throughout the longest time that I wasn't really understanding is self-love, and that it all starts with truly approving yourself and to believe in your divinity and your perfection of the way you are. And maybe for some it will be so easy to understand, but for me specifically it took a long way to understand how not to judge yourself and how to just accept every move in the past and accept everything with the purest love that we truly all are. So I think thank you. I was in a hotel and everyone was doing this, and it means I greet you with the depths of my heart, and it was so beautiful. Imagine everybody would go and they would see a person and it would be like, I greet you with the depths of my heart. How our world would change just by doing that. You're already shifting the energy.
Yes,
So,
it's a beautiful practice.
yeah, let's amplify the best. Sadhana.
Satnam, thank you so much for listening to me.
Yay! We're gonna have some more later.
True story. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope that you took the best from this interview, because Shanti is such a light, beautiful being who lives from her heart with full of unconditional love. And this I wish you all to find your way to your heart, to find your way to your highest self, and always remember who you truly are, a child of light and love. And I'll see you all very soon back on our channel, Rise and Shine TV. With love and gratitude,
Sadhana.
your Lakshmi and Shanti. Satnam, guys!